Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Quick Conversations. My name is Jerry L. Johnson. This week we'll be sitting down with two-time Grammy Award winner and 15-plus year member of the DC chapter, Cathy Fink, as well as Max Rainwater from the Ashokan Center. Today, Max and Cathy will be discussing the virtual programming world, virtual festivals, and the way that artists are getting their content online to be seen by their fans. So just as a quick reminder, this will be recorded via Zoom for playback on Facebook, and any additional recording of this program without the express written permission of the Recording Academy is strictly prohibited. So Max and Cathy, thank you so much for doing this. Take it away.
Thanks, Jeriel. It's really fun to be here and talk about how we're adapting a lot of our programs throughout this whole pandemic, and some of it may influence what we do even when the pandemic is not in the forefront. And I'm really thrilled to have Max Rainwater here from Ashokan Music and Dance, because he taught me a lot of what I know about this. Ashokan is a wonderful, wonderful environmental center in New York near Woodstock, and it's gorgeous, and they've been running music camps there for what, over 20 years, Max?
This is the 40th year, Kathy.
Oh my God, 40 years, don't blink. And Jay Unger and Molly Mason have been at the forefront of pulling those together. And I believe your first event was the virtual Uke Fest at Ashokan, is that correct?
Not so. Our first event, and hello everyone, thanks Jeriel for having me. I'm Max from Ashokan. Our first event was earlier in April. It started with the old time online Rollick.
That's right, which I attended, and it was so good.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, before we talk about how we've taken our events online, maybe you could give a very quick picture of what an Ashokan music camp, which by the way, these are music camps primarily for adults, although there is a family camp as well, but what those looked like pre-pandemic, and then the transition to taking them online.
Certainly, yeah. Music and dance camps at Ashokan have been going, like Kathy said, since 1980, where it was just a small group of musicians that gathered at, first was another campus in the area, but then when Jay Unger found the Ashokan Center campus, which at that time was a property of SUNY New Paltz, it became the home for Ashokan Music and Dance camps, where most are a week. In a normal year, most are a week and focus on a certain style of American traditional music. The longest running camps are Southern Week, which is Appalachian and Cajun and Zydeco music, and all types of Southern styles of lots of string band, and also like I mentioned, some more styles from Louisiana and other parts of the South. And Northern Week, which is Scandinavian and Cape Breton Canadian, as well as New England styles of fiddle playing, other string instrument playing, as well as guitar and all sorts of other instruments. So yeah, in a normal year, not just adults, families too, of all ages come to the Ashokan Center, where we have a top-notch kitchen and chef, and also residential facilities where you can stay in the bunkhouse or private lodging, and just have an all-encompassing musical and community experience in the Catskills in New York. I'm happy to say that I've been going now since I was about 13 years old, so that's about a little over 15 years now. I've been going to Ashokan Music and Dance Camp, so it's a big part of my life, and now I'm happy to be a part of the team that works to bring the camps together.
So a typical camp might have anywhere from 10 to 30 instructors, a couple hundred people attending. Talk about how you have taken that experience online, a little bit of the nuts and bolts and a little bit of building the community, because Ashokan's done this really well, and including, I want to add, a pay what you can option.
Absolutely. We decided early on that would be the the best option to be inclusive and make sure that people in all types of situations would want to get involved, most of all, because it is a new experience. It was a new experience for us as we built it. We wanted to make sure that people felt that they were getting a good value. And just to touch on a few more points about going online, the first camps have had really fantastic coordinators working with us to help spread the word and build the community. At the Rollick, the coordinator, Deborah Clifford, and her partner, Becca Wintle, are very active on Facebook and have a group that almost doubled in size between when we decided to take it online and when camp actually started. So yeah, we're active on social media to keep people up to date with what's happening. And then in terms of putting the camp on, well, camp coordinators contacted their staff and let them know that their camps were going to happen online. So most staff were on board from the jump, and thankfully we were able to have enough support with our Ashokan team that during camp, each teacher also has a host helping run the online meeting to make the experience much more robust for all. I mean, teachers can just focus on teaching. Students, if they have a question or technical difficulties, can talk to the host without interrupting the flow of class. And so we've been really happy with the learning environment that is created on Zoom. And we're happy that all of our teachers have been so adaptable and successful with their lessons.
That's awesome. And I was part of the Rollick, and I thought it was phenomenally well done. And when the Rollick was announced, I had already been in the works of plans with Brad Kolodner to launch an Old Time Banjo Festival. Now, by example, the Old Time Banjo Festival, which has gone on for about 13 years, is an event that I started at a music club in the DC area, the Birchmere. And it's a 500-seat club, and we would have a big concert at the Birchmere with 5 to 7 performers and follow it up with a day of workshops with those performers where people could come and learn from them. And this year, Brad runs a big old time music festival in Baltimore at the Creative Alliance, and that of course got postponed to next year, and I thought he'd be a great partner to do this with. We spent a bunch of time on the phone with Max and other members of his team at Ashokan to find out their best practices, and we've now done 2 old-time banjo festivals, each one very, very successful in almost every way. And of course, you learn as you go. You know, Max was really great in giving us suggestions about how to host the meetings so that the instructors could really be focused on giving instruction, and that's a time not to let people socialize and chat, but leave it only for questions, which can be then more easily found. But then we've also created some opportunities for social life. It's a little odd doing social life via Zoom and via these other methods, but that's what it's come to right now. And so we did an old time jam session where we opened up the chat. We always open up the chat at the end for a little bit of talk. I'm coming up on an event that I've run now for 12 years with my partner Marcy Marxer, which is the annual Ukulele Fest at the Music Center at Strathmore, big performing arts center. And typically our Uke Fest has about 120 participants, about 8 to 10 instructors. We're going online. And Strathmore has experience using a application called, I believe it's called Remo, for actual social visits. In Zoom, sometimes people call it breaking out into breakout sessions. But Remo has this scenario that I haven't tried out yet, where basically it's almost like everybody goes to a banquet and you can choose a table to go sit at that different people are at, and you can move around and do that. And one of the things that we're really working on for UkeFest is to see how many different ways we can build on the community aspect, because when you're in a music camp all together, the community's right there. You're having meals with people, you're talking to them, you're hanging out, you're making a date to go do a jam session over by the tree, all those kinds of things. And we're really going to try and build more in the camps that we do that involve that community. In fact, one thing Brad and I were talking about is maybe doing, when we do the next old time banjo event, we did a Friday night concert, all day Saturday workshop, Saturday night concert, Sunday workshop, Sunday night jam session. And we're thinking about just having like a Monday night cocktail hour. No instruments, let's just chat, find each other. If you live in similar towns and you didn't know that, you know, when this is over, you can get together now, 6 feet apart, and just kind of pull the whole community together. We'll be doing that at UkeFest, some with our open mic, because we find in our live event, the open mic is where people really get to know each other. And so we're just constantly looking to have ways of not only teaching and giving a really good teaching experience, but also the community experience. And Max, you know what would be great would be to talk about the follow-up that teachers do, because you you give people a link to YouTube as well, and then follow-up materials so that they can really focus on being in the class or the event and not focus on taking notes and all of that.
That is true. Yeah, and just before I do go towards that, it's an important part of Ashokan online camps too, to have hangouts where campers just go into a Zoom room. It's pretty free for all, and it's really exciting to see people's faces, hear where they're from, hear their little anecdotes, and it really does help keep a community together, because in a time where there really aren't any alternatives, you kind of have to just, you know, kind of open your mind and open your heart a little bit to meeting people through a screen or having a conversation without the normal social feedback, but also still the feeling of being together is present, which is nice, which has been really nice at the online camps. Now, to talk about the materials. Yes, so at Ashokan camps, we live stream most, not all, but most of the workshops and other programs that take place are live streamed onto YouTube, unlisted links, so they're not available publicly, but they are available to watch right away if you don't want to join the Zoom class. And then the nice thing is that we're building into our website that each class will have an archived page where the live stream will be available to watch for campers after camp is over. So you have a login and you can access all of the archived material from camp. Aside from the class videos, yes, we also provide resource folders where teachers can upload digital material, whether it's charts or other sheet music, or contact information, or recordings, or other just links to good resources to be had online. It's another effort that we're making to kind of keep people connected, even though we can't get together. But yes, keep conversations going and really just be there for one another. And as an organization, we definitely want to make sure that everybody's feeling that.
Well, one of the things and suggestions I want to make to people who want to be trying this, be it for teaching opportunities, music camp opportunities, or even just live streaming, there are so many different software options, and Zoom is one of many. There's one called StreamYard. There's so many different ones. Some are simple, some are complicated, some are actually meant for music. Zoom was initiated for spoken meetings, and they've been stepping up to the plate with updates that make it better and better for what we're all doing. But I think it's really helpful. We've done a few very small events, a very small guitar camp, where my partner Marcy and I just ran it ourselves. Of course, it's exhausting being in charge of all the tech and the music and the artistic direction. If you can hire someone or bring someone in like Max who can do some of that for you, that takes the pressure off, and it means you're putting 100% of the effort into the artistic side. And then we are also doing a lot of streaming events on Facebook and YouTube. For a long time, they were Cathy and Marcy concerts, and our fans would quote unquote come, and we'd interact with them in the chat and all of that kind of thing. And now we've been doing a lot with various different friends. We did one with Cy Khan and Sam Gleaves because there was a new album of Cy's songs. We did one with Laurie Lewis last night. And coming up, we'll be doing one with Tom Paxton, Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award winner. We keep those very simple. We can do the tech. But when it gets bigger, you might want to think about having someone else do that. You also want to think about how you're going to do your ticketing and how you're going to do your correspondence with people. We, the first time, just had people email us, and then we processed all that stuff and one by one put them into spreadsheets and learned our lesson and signed up with an organization called Ticket Tailor that, at least for the summer, was offering their services free. And they were an add-on to WordPress, and they have been fantastic. Do your research and call people. That's another important thing. I feel like when we called Max and Ovi at Ashokan and they talked about how their team were working and they were so open about it, that it gave us the confidence to feel like, oh yeah, we can pull this off. And now I'm sure you're still getting lots of calls, and I'm probably getting about 3 a day from people saying, how should I run my music camp? Or how should I do my live stream? And I'm really happy to help people do that, because right now, health is so important. And we just really don't know when we can all be in the same room together. I don't care what the laws say. I don't care what the governors say. I know that I live with someone who is immune compromised, and they can open every club in the country, but we're not going for a while. And I feel like there's a lot of audience who feel that way. And we're looking for that middle ground where we can all keep it moving without having to say, it's like that thing I saw on social media. Singing is not canceled. Music is not canceled. Creativity is not canceled. And what we have to do is be open and creative about how we are going to keep all of that going with community and with building the community. I want to thank Ashokan for being incredible role models and how to do that. And check out Ashokan. Is it just ashokan.org?
Yep, to see all the music camps, you can go to ashokan.org. We have 6 more music camps this summer.
They're totally awesome. And our next big online event is going to be an online old-time banjo contest, because all the camps are closed where we would get to hear some of the best banjo players and share our music with each other. So you can check cathymarcy.com and look under lessons, and our future camps and contests and things like that will be there. And I also want to thank the DC chapter of the Recording Academy for inviting us to have this chat. Great to see you, Max.
Yeah, you too, Cathy, and thank you to Jeriel for this invitation, to you both.